Hi, my name is David Hill and I'm here to take you through how you start with data and move forward with Tableau. Tableau is part of Salesforce and as such is governed by SEC regulations. This statement talks about futures, however everything I'm going to show today is generally available product. So AI has the power to change everything we do. AI is everywhere at the moment. Every time you look on a website, go on LinkedIn, even walking through the streets, you see billboards talking about AI. It's what everyone's talking about. And that's because it really has the power to change things. If you think it's changing the way we work at the moment, you're able to code using generative AI. You can ask it to write code in whatever language you want. If you've got a document, it can actually summarize the document into an easy digestible paragraph or two, rather than having to read through pages and pages and pages. Probably the one that we've seen the most is in the customer service automation. So chatbots, when you go onto a website or into an application, you can actually see them. It used to be rules-based, where you got a series of lists, and depending on what you selected in the list, you would get a boilerplate response. Now it has the ability to understand what you've asked and to craft a response in human language that people can readily understand. So it's actually solving more first at first point of contact. But there's a gap between the demand for AI and the reality. So within 2 months of starting, ChatGPT had 100 million users. That's phenomenal. That's more than anything else in history. But actually, 63% of companies lack the capabilities to operationalize AI. And that's because their data is not ready. It requires people to understand their data. And that's where Tableau comes in. So Tableau has had a mission statement since it was formed of actually helping people see and understand their data and get the most value from it. But also you need to get those insights where people are going to consume them, where people are going to be. There's no use having PDFs, Excels scattered all over the place if people aren't going to use them, because they'll just go with their gut if they do. So where do you spend most of your time? You spend it on your phone. If you look at, say, this is my phone from a while back, where do I spend most of my time? I spend it in my CRM, Salesforce. I spend it on my personal productivity tool, Slack, or it could be Teams. That's where these insights need to be, rather than people having to go from different applications. And actually, if I could get it delivered on my mobile phone, that'd be even better. But also, people need to be able to search for insights, ask questions of those insights, be able to ask for more detail without having to go and ask for another report, ask for a team to go and build a dashboard. I was with a customer the other day, and what they have to do is every time they want a column changed on the dashboard or a new measure adding, it takes them 3 months for it to go to their reporting team and come back. And that's hopefully if they get it right first time. But this is where Tableau Pulse helps. So this is Tableau Pulse. It's using generative AI to deliver me insights, but it's different from any other analytics we've used in the past. A recent Gartner survey showed that only 30% of people believe they're data-driven. That's massive. And that's because, as much as we like dashboards, and people like myself will use dashboards, there is another 70% who don't really want to interact with that. So the idea of Tableau Pulse, admittedly I'm showing you this through a website here, is infused within your work. It can be delivered to your mobile, and I've got a mobile demonstration which I've actually put on LinkedIn, which you can all go and find. Or it can be insights can be sent to your Slack or your Teams or even your email. But also it's a little bit different. These charts haven't been created for me. What I've done is I've subscribed to metrics that have been made available. And we can see here, if I go to Browse Metrics, I've got other metrics that I can go and subscribe to. But these are ones that either I've subscribed to or have been deemed that I want to use by my administrator. But they aren't creating this. What they've done is say something like matter duration. They've actually put that in on a, and then the chart has been built by AI. Now, I should have probably started with this. This is a legal example. I mainly work in the legal sector now. So the demonstration I'll be taking through is legal, but it could be applicable to anyone here. So if we look at matter duration, what I have here is not only has it built this line chart for me, but it's also giving me the trend. It tells me exactly what I need in plain language. It also gives me a plain language summary. Now, on top of that, if I have a look at the top, all the metrics that I've subscribed to, I'm getting a plain language summary of what's happened there. So I can actually see how each are doing, and I can set them as whether I want it to be above, below target, those type of things. But also it tells me what the general trends. I have the ability to give it a little bit of feedback loop here. Was this helpful? Yes, no. So I can feed that back to make sure that the generative AI serves me better next time. If I want to look at, say, something like my billables total, I can come into it here and it gives me the breakdown. So it gives me the breakdown versus prior period, but also prior year as well. So I get that year-on-year experience and period by period, because certain metrics do certain things. You know, some are better on an annual basis, some are better on a monthly. But I have the ability here again to have a little summary where I've got billable total this month has reached 4.6 million. It also gives me that little bit, it tells me it's increasing at a slower rate than normal. But also I might want to ask questions. So I've been given some standard questions that most people have asked in the past, or actually the generative AI assumes I want. So something like, which lawyer name has increased the most? So I can see which has there. But I also, again, I can say if this was helpful or unhelpful, so it asks me different questions next time. But I also have a free form. So here I can put in, I might want to know what practice area. And luckily, I've done this before. Which practice area has the lowest billables? And it gives me a summary of what it thinks I asked. So which practice area has low billable totals? There we go. We can see private equity is the one. Now, what I might want to do with this is I might want to share it with someone. So I can push this to their Slack. I can push it to their Teams. I can push it to their email. Along with any kind of commentary I want to put in it. But actually, again, you can see that it's given me a little summary, and again, I have the ability to feed that back. So this is really changing the way that analytics is consumed. It's giving people information where they need it, but also in an experience where they can ask questions rather than having to be highly technical. I'm asking things in plain English and getting the answers I want, which is incredibly powerful and should reach that other 70% of people who don't feel like they're data driven. So I've taken you through how we can kind of reach that other 70%, but where can we start to close the gap fast, where we could get those 70% more data driven outside of just an impulse? So decisions are made at all layers of organisations. A recent Tableau State of the Analytics survey said that 94% of business leaders feel their organisation should be getting more out of data. And if you think about it, that is because generally most organisations leave the decisions to the C-suite. They can make hundreds of daily decisions. But as we go further down the organisation, line of business leaders need to consume KPIs, but also uncover new questions to ask both of their leadership, but also of people in their teams. And then you've got individual contributors and frontline managers. If they've got data infused in their workloads, but also the ability to ask more questions and drive real-time actions, they can make thousands and tens of thousands of decisions daily, which can really influence your business, and which is why so many organizations want to be data-driven. So brilliant ideas can come from anywhere, as can correct decisions. So what we want to do is try and empower people to ask the right questions of the data and give them the ability to do that. So the right data culture can actually inspire that. So if you think decisions are made daily across the organisation at all layers, it's really, really disconnected. You can see it here on the left-hand side, and that's most organisations. The data culture will improve those decisions with data, start having people make the right decisions with the right data. But the key thing is to start trying to drive alignment. So good analytics will drive alignment to a shared purpose, But also, if you drive it with coordination between functions and actually empower people to make the right decisions, not only will it drive your organisation forward, but it also means that people are feeling more empowered to make those decisions because they know exactly where the company's going and how they can influence it. So again, here's Tableau. This is Tableau dashboard built for a law firm. What I've got is my key KPIs wherever I need them in beautiful visualizations, which makes things easy to understand, but also it makes it more appealing to look at. And while that might sound a bit twee, actually having appealing visualizations mean that people understand the data more. They're not drawn to the fact that it's just the same old bar charts in the same standard colors. I can see all my key KPIs like my billing analysis, how much people are working, my different clients, which are most profitable. I have the ability to actually filter that. Now, this could actually be based on security. I could only see the data that I'm supposed to. But equally, if I'm in as, say, someone senior, managing partner, for instance, I have the ability to filter that by line of business. So I can see which practice area is doing the most. I can also maybe filter on a particular client because I'm going to go see that client today, so I can see what we're doing with them, how we're actually performing, and whether they're a profitable client for us. Or they might actually have outstanding billing that we need to talk about. And I could even take it down to the individual fee earner or employee if I really wanted to. I've also got, I can see a billing Gantt chart, so I can see how many hours have been worked and how many days we're due to be paid. So the outstanding billing there. Again, with the ability to then filter it by department, by particular client, or particular date if I wanted to. So I could do it on a month-by-month basis. I'm actually seeing this for all clients here. And if I want to look at my dormant matters, again, this is going to show me where my dormant matters are, which practice areas have the most dormant matters, and the dormant matters per client as well. So we might want to look at clients that may be looking to attrit, maybe want to start showing them a little more love. So this key, beautiful experience actually is helping me understand my data more. I actually want to learn. It's giving me the information without me having to go from spreadsheet to spreadsheet, report to report. Or maybe, having to look at PDF after PDF of a client report. So that's one thing. But what about if I want to actually look at and create my own visualization? Because I've been given access to data, I'm able to do that. But actually, I can connect to absolutely any data source. Tableau can connect to everything. You can see here, we can connect to virtually everything, and even if we can't, there is an ODBC or JDBC connection, or we can connect via APIs. So it's easy and quick to connect to anything. And if I've been given the rights, I can bring data sources together and connect them together if I so choose, meaning that I don't have to wait for things to be pushed into a data warehouse, which can take time and actually sometimes can lose business, can actually lose productivity waiting for that to happen. So I'm here in the Tableau desktop. However, there is a web version, and everything you can see here can actually be done in the web. I'm just doing it on the desktop because that's the kind of person I am. I quite like using desktop applications. Okay, so if I want, I can double click on number of hours saved. Now, knowing that that's a measure, what Tableau has done is created a chart that probably makes sense for me within there. Again, if I wanted to say, look at practice area, we've called it legal department. It automatically creates me a bar chart quickly and easily. The idea behind Tableau is it's clicks, not code. I don't have to go and code anything here. I can quickly and easily create things and beautiful visualizations without actually needing to understand how to code. Now, I've got the number of hours invoiced there, but let's have a look at the number of hours worked as well. So let's put them together there. I've got two charts around number of hours worked and now number of hours invoiced. But what about if I want to put them together on the same chart? So in the top right hand corner here, I've got my show me. Now what this does, and this is really intelligent here, it actually works out all the different visualizations that are applicable to what I've shown. Really powerful. So I can change it to, so for instance, I haven't got geographical data, so my maps are actually grayed out. And we can do any kind of visualization here, and you can actually bring in your own visualizations if you wanted to. I just want to do a side-by-side bar chart. And notice, because I've got two measures on the same chart, it's actually recognized the template from the rest of my dashboard and applied that. I have the ability, if I wanted to change this. Here I can edit the colors, but I don't want to. It's actually my company colors, and it's already been provided for me without me having to do anything. Now I can give it a title here. I could call this my working hours versus invoiced. And I've got all the formatting options you'd expect there as well. Now, I might want to create a calculation, so I want to work out the difference between the billing and the invoice, and the worked hours, sorry. And we can see it's already been created for me. Having said that, I want to create my own just for the purposes of the demonstration. So if I scroll down to the bottom of my measures here, I have the ability, when I right click, to do a number of things. I just want to create a calculated field. There we are. I'm going to call this difference. And I have a number of different formulae here available. Most people are familiar with Excel, should be able to work out what formula they want here and use it again. But equally, I've got a wizard that helps me. So I want to do number of hours worked minus, and notice it gives me a load of different suggestions. I could scroll through and get different measures that are in here, things like not now. It's based it on that end. It's worked out what I can put in here, and I'll do it versus hours invoiced. It's that simple. It also gives me a little validation there to see my calculation is valid. If I click OK, that is now available for me, and I can drag and drop that. Now I can drag and drop this anywhere. You can see here that, again, when I talk about clicks not code, I can drop this into any part. I can drop it directly on the chart. I can drop it into the rows at the top. I could put it into the filter, into different pages if I wanted, so I could have different pages. Or I could just drop it here in the measure values. I'm just going to drop it onto the chart, and we can see it's put my difference in with it here as well. Really powerful, really quick, and multiple ways of doing the same thing, so it's very intuitive. Most people should be able to work this out, even with very little training, and if not, there's a plethora of videos on YouTube to show you how to do even the most complex calculations. And also in the web version, we have this thing called Copilot, which will be able to advise you how to create calculations if you wanted to do something like a rolling average, which is traditionally quite challenging. So now what I want to do is actually create a bubble chart, which has the size of the bubbles being the number of hours worked, and the difference being the colour of the bubble. So we can see the practice areas that are most behind on their billings. Now, if I want to do that, again, I go back to my show me. I can't actually do bubble charts because you can see here it says you need one or more dimensions and one or two measures. So I've got 3 measures in this chart, so which is why it's grayed out. So again, it's guiding me to be able to create something. So what I can do is I can get rid of my hours invoiced, and I can just click on that and remove it. Now, at any point, if I make any mistakes, I actually have some undo buttons here as well. So undo, redo. So if I make any mistakes, I can actually redo what I've done. That wasn't a mistake, so I can remove it there. So actually here I've got the bar chart. Just before I move it into a bubble chart, just quite easy to show. Sometimes you want to reorder the measures. Again, it's just a simple fact of dragging and dropping. So I can see the number of hours first, then the difference. Now if I go, you can see that the bubble chart is now no longer grayed out, so I'm able to click on it. And there we go. I've got the ability now to see the number of hours worked, which is the size of the, is the color of the bubble, and the difference is the size. So we've got some people here that haven't paid their bills for certain practice areas, and if I want to, I have the ability to edit these colours. So I can move it to a number of different ones, or I can actually create my own custom one. I'm going to go with a kind of a standard traffic light and apply that. So quickly and easily, I'm able to create my own beautiful visualization, and if I want to, I can add this to a dashboard. I might just want to then export this to PDF or just make it available to my team. I can save this back to the server, or I can publish it to our cloud instance, whatever I might want to do here. But quickly and easily, I'm able to find a problem, spot a problem. So we can see here that, say, intellectual property, we've got a massive difference. I probably actually need to change that legend to be the other way around, because intellectual property we've done a lot of work on, but we haven't been paid. So we need to work on that and go and speak to those clients and make sure that we're billing correctly. But quickly and easily, I've spotted that. With a few clicks, I haven't had to code, and I've created a beautiful visualization. What a number of people don't realise about Tableau is the community. It's massive. We have over 9 million visualizations on Tableau Public. That's a free area where you can go and get inspired by what people have done. People can publish what they've done up to Tableau Public for others to do. We've got over 4,000 Tableau forums for asking questions. Obviously, we have support as well, but that community is like no other I've ever seen in my 25 years in the IT industry. We have 500 user groups, some in London, in fact across all of the UK we have them, both on virtual and physical locations. And we've empowered over 3 million students and teachers with free software and data skills. It's absolutely quite phenomenal what's available for free with Tableau and the community around it. So if you ever have a problem, not only will you be able to find it in probably a community blog, a forum, multiple YouTubes, you've got this whole power of the community behind you to help you if you do need a question, do have a question. So hopefully you found that useful. I've taken you through how Tableau's changing the game with introducing generative AI with Tableau Pulse, but also how an individual can create quick and easy, beautiful visualizations to answer complex business questions with clicks, not code. If you have any questions, I'll be more than happy for you to contact me on LinkedIn. Thank you very much.